What's up, y'all? It's your boy Alan Dan Bean, here to give you a little bit of update what I've been doing, some stuff that came back from PSA, and one absolute banger that came back in the sub. So, got a lot of PSA cards that came here. Just going to show you a couple of them. First one up, we got Fermin Lopez, rookie out of Barca, out of 75 from the flagship UEFA. It's mostly paper, but it's still a nice card. I like it. Hold on to some soccer for a little bit. Next one up is the non-numbered version of the Ultimate Stage Chrome. These look kind of cool. Kind of looks like a fast break. But this is for Lamine Yamal. This is the chase for rookies in this year's product. Next up, Brandon Miller Silver. And so the only thing that I have with this is, man, this thing looks off-centered. Like, just look at the distance between these two, you know? And again, I think it's a lot less when you look at the actual kind of spacing in between here and here, but it's still pretty egregious in my eyes. Again, it got a gem. I'm not going to complain. I'll sell it. But I am holding a lot of Brandon Miller. I think that, you know, if it wasn't for Wemby, he would be the clear rookie of the year. I think that he's going to be an all-star pretty soon. He seems like a real great player. So holding a lot of these. Really glad this gemmed. As you can see on the back, like the back's even worse. And I have a couple of other silvers, and now that I'm kind of seeing this one, you know, I'm gonna sub ones like this, which again, like this is egregiously off-centered. But based on what I have in front of me, this one might have a decent chance. You know, this one may be a little more egregious than that one, but it's close. So I'll sub a couple more of these, see what I can get. Hold on to some Brandon Millers. Next up is another Brandon Miller. This time it's the green. And the centering's not so bad on this one. This is a little closer to what I would think is the centering. You know, in order to get a PSA 10, you have to be 60-40. I mean, that other one seemed like it was way more than 70-30, but it is what it is. And then PSA 9, I think someone was saying, like, you could have 90-10 and still get a PSA 9, which to me is wild. Again, I picked these up for almost nothing, so being into them for the grading fee, hold on to it for a little bit, see how he does, and have something to work, kind of move for the next season. Next card up. I'm just getting this back from a consignor that I use, Bogey Breaks, Cards to Consignment. Had this up for a while for some buy it nows. Hadn't really gotten any offers. But again, you know, it's a little bit of a tougher card to move. He's not really gotten a lot of playing time with Haaland in front of him, De Bruyne in front of him for Manchester City. So, you know, all things aside, with him having a really excellent World Cup with Messi and then winning the World Cup for Argentina, this might be a slow burn. But again, I got into this break for really cheap, sold most of the base sapphires and like the sapphire selections that were there, recouped my money. So in no rush to move this. He'll, you know, hopefully he continues to have a decent career. Maybe he goes to another club that allows him to get a little more playing time and a little more scoring. But yellow to sapphire to 99, really can't complain about that. Hold on to Julian Alvarez for a little longer. Also have a bunch of his base sapphires on ComC just in case. Next one, and a card, I've been trying to get a lot of him, Will Levis. So it's kind of like, I don't want to say exactly like the Jalen Hurts play that I tried in 2020, which was you kind of want to get, and worked a little bit for Jordan Love. You know, quarterbacking is our ability to evaluate them is really, really tough. So sometimes these guys end up being pretty good. And I think Will Levis, with all the weapons that he has, again, they got Calvin Ridley, Tony Pollard, their offensive line has improved a little bit. Getting this orange etched, which is out of 49. I love Obsidian. I think Obsidian is one of the coolest card sets there are. The hobby doesn't love it nearly as much, but again, it's something that I could have. It'll be pretty liquid, and again, I'm into it for way less than the break spot was. I think Titans were like 65 in a half case. So definitely gonna be able to make a little bit of money of this. But this is the type of thing where if I was going to the National, I'd be walking around the floor with, because I think that people are going to be buying a lot of Levis. And a lot of the quarterbacks from last year's draft. All right, so the final ones it's going to get a little bit bigger. This one is just me showing off one of the cards on my PC. So when Bowman U came out, everyone was chasing Caitlin Clark and everything. Me being a Jersey guy, I wanted to chase DJ Wagner. His dad, DeJuan Wagner, played for Camden here in Jersey. Legend here in our state. Dropped 100 points in one game. Definitely one of the best players to ever come out of New Jersey. So to see his son play, who's actually very, very talented, it was exciting to be able to get this. This is a Sapphire Selection Inscription. Again, not all of his autos have this, only the low number ones. Again, Sapphire Selections, it's a black, and then it is 210, which, again, is really, really cool. So, these don't move super, super well. It is on my eBay store for a pretty ridiculous price. There's a price for almost all my cards, but if I didn't move this, I would not be super mad at it. And hopefully he either goes to the transfer portal or he does jump in the draft and, a team like an OKC or, some team that needs a little bit of microwavy scoring could use DeJuan Wagner. And now, before I go to these last two cards, I know that I did a video in the beginning of the year about not buying Wembanyama. And I'm going to have a standalone video about just this. But what I will say is that these are two Victor Wembanyama cards, so yes, I am a hypocrite. But what happened is that the first card, and I'll just show you. And if you're in with one of some of the discords that I'm in, you know the story behind this. So I was able to get a bunch of select retail at MSRP, and I was like, you know what? I'll just rip it, see what happens. When this was from the Target box, Target ships their wax without any protection at all. There's no bubble wrap. There's no nothing. So all the boxes were dented, but not like dented enough where the cards itself would have been damaged. So I called up Target and they were like, well, yeah, you're past your return window. It took them almost 3 months to ship the card to me or ship the wax to me. So what was I supposed to do? So I said, you know what? Boxes that have dents in them, those are the ones that have the bangers. And I was right. This year in Select, they have a mezzanine only level. So this is the mezzanine, and then it's the red cracked ice, and it's in the PSA 10. And even with the mega printing of the Select, this is still only a pop 10. It doesn't seem like it goes for a ton, but it's one of the things where I think that the pop control will be a little more controlled on these. These are wildly off-centered. If you've ever seen the other mezzanines, and again, it's a little bit rarer because it's a retail only parallel, but I kind of like it, so I'm in no rush to sell it, but it is something that I think that I'll be able to have that's pretty liquid. And then the banger of it all, I just got really lucky and I won yet another Raz. This time it was for the premium set Wembanyama. And so this is from that $5,000 ish. I don't remember what the MSRP. I think the MSRP was $4,000 and people were selling it for $5,000. But this is the Pandora. These are really, really cool. The tough thing with Victor Wembanyama is like there's, the blacks are one of ones. The silvers look pretty good because again with the Spurs color, but this Pandora really, really pops, man. Like it's kind of hard to see on the video because apologies, I'm doing some more work in my basement. Oh, this is actually a pretty good angle so you can see. But like all of the colors that kind of pop out on this, and this is a really good angle. It's a really, really impressive looking card. Really happy that I hit this. This is one of the things. What I'm likely going to do with this is just send it to PWCC. Part of the reason is, just because of insurance reasons, it gets humid in my house. If there ever is, water or whatever the case may be, I'd really like it to be in a place where, again, insurance is covered. The humidity stuff is a little more handled by their vault, and then also I can always move it into the auction or keep it at a fixed rate because I do think even though Victor Wembanyama is sliding a little bit because his cards are printed to absolute hell, I do think they're going to make a move, and I don't know if it's going to be like picking up a Darius Garland or a Trae Young or I don't think that DeJounte Murray would ever come back, but I do think that a point guard is in their future. And I don't think it's going to be through the draft. I think through the draft they're going to try to get like a Dalton Neck, Robert Dillingham, somebody who could score alongside of Victor Wembanyama, and then maybe in the second round if he's still there. I highly doubt it. Going after Zach Edey, because I think that there's really an opportunity for him to play more of the 4 than the 5. Again, he's somewhat frail for a 7'4" guy. He's not. I mean, he obviously can score inside, but I think for the longevity of his career, it would be way better if he was not having to be in the paint all the time. But again, won this in a Raz. The spots were, I want to say $65 a pop. So no real rush to be able to move this. But I do want to get it on some platforms so I can sort of field some offers. Again, it's on eBay right now, but I'm highly doubtful that I'll sell it on at least through my store on eBay. The eBay fees just alone just take a real big chunk out of the sale for this. I do like eBay for moving small stuff, getting liquid. Because pretty much no matter where you go, most consigners, once you're under $1,000, the eBay fees kind of are equivalent to what a lot of people offer. But again, this will be really cool to have in the vault. And I'm going to have another video about kind of, there is an approach to having Victor Wembanyama cards, but it is definitely not buying into breaks. It is not trying to do what I do, which is winning a Raz. Obviously, I just got extremely lucky, and here we are, because otherwise in between those two situations I really wouldn't have much Victor Wembanyama, and I'll show in the next video, but I had a bunch of them that I gotten through one break that I'd won a Raz into, and again there's a theme here, just me winning Razes. So I got like 5 Victor Wembanyamas in one retail break, and it was some inserts, the base, and then the pink, and then the red. But took more than a month to get them graded. So many of them came to market. If I would have sold everything raw, I would have made a really big killing. But because I chose to grade them and they did not gem, the color didn't gem. Some of the base did, which is not what you want. Now I'm not going to lose any money. I'm still going to make a profit, but probably could have had a lot more profit. And that's the discussion that I think that we're going to have in the next video too, which is it looks like the PSA 9 market is really in the dumps and people are only after 10s. It's 10s or bust. And so what does that mean for you as someone who's seeking out trying to get cards flipped? There might be some opportunities, especially if you inspect the card, to be able to say, maybe I don't grade this, looking at the Brandon Miller that I had before, I do have, and I'll put the Wemby down for now. Now that I have kind of like a reference card, maybe I can say to myself, all right, maybe I'll give this a chance in comparing them. But again, if this is to get a 9, it's not going to be worth very much at all. These silvers raw are like $40-ish. In a 9, they're actually less than $40 because I think everybody right now is going 10s or busts. So the decision that I have to make is, do I want to grade this? I am probably going to grade this. I'm just going to go look over the surface and make sure that there's nothing there that I did not see before. Make sure there's no blemishes, no dents. And I probably will send it in because my goal before the basketball season is to have 10 of these Brandon Miller silvers. And they're about like $180, $200 a piece. And I do think that they could be $300, $350 silvers by the mid of next year. I think that he's going to take over this franchise. I think that LaMelo being back will actually help him. But again, I don't trust the Ball family to stay healthy. It just doesn't seem like a thing that they'd be able to do. So that's it for now. Thanks for watching my little kind of mini reveal. Don't really have a whole lot of cards coming back. I am going to have some cards coming back probably in the middle of July. And then in August, 2 bulk subs. So I'll do some reveals there. But I'm definitely going to do a video about Victor Wembanyama and the 9s in the market. But again, one last look. This banger. Thanks to All American Card Breaks. I don't know if you guys joined his breaks in Sports Cards Investors, but he has been blessing me with great cards for years. Couldn't be happier. Thanks, everyone, for watching. Deuces.